Hello everyone, my name is Sabrina Chapman. Today I'm presenting Taxi Driver exploring the cinematic elements Travis Bickle's psychological descent. For this film analysis, I'll be doing a deep dive on The Taxi Driver, directed by Martin Scorsese from the 1970s. This is a film that deep dives into the mind of a man unraveling in a decaying city. I'll be focusing on how cinematic elements like sound, editing, and dialogue express Travis Bickle's mental state, and what that says about how film portrays psychological isolation. The main characters include Travis Bickle, played by Robert De Niro, whose performance grounds the entire film, Betsy, who is a campaign worker who Travis tries to date, while Iris, played by young Jodie Foster, is a child who he becomes obsessed with saving due to being a prostitute. Sport, Iris is manipulative pimp. He seems to play a small role in the movie, but his character is very important to the story, being the person who pushes Travis to start killing for Iris. Set in the 1970s New York City, a time marked by rising crime and social decay, Taxi Driver follows Travis Bickle, a lonely insomniac Vietnam War veteran who works nights as a taxi driver. As he grows increasingly disgusted with the world around him, Travis attempts to connect with Betsy, a political campaign worker who is ultimately rejected. Consumed by isolation and resentment, he becomes obsessed with the idea of cleaning up the city and begins preparing for violence. After a failed attempt to assassinate a presidential candidate, Travis turns his focus to Iris, a 12-year-old sex worker he becomes determined to save. He carries out a brutal rescue mission, killing several men at the brothel. The film ends with an ambiguous note. Some view Travis as a hero, while others see his mental state as still deeply unstable. Martin Scorsese is known for exploring themes of loneliness, guilt, violence, and moral ambiguity, and he approaches Taxi Driver not as a thriller, but as what he called a descent into a man's soul. He believed that Travis Bickle isn't evil, but rather spiritually desperate and profoundly isolated. To capture this, he used subjective filmmaking techniques, point of view shots, internal narrative, and dreamlike visuals to immerse viewers in Travis' deteriorating psyche. He worked closely with screenwriter Paul Serrato, whose script reflected similar feelings of alienation drawn from his own life. He emphasized realism through natural lighting, on-location setting, and the use of gritty 1970s New York as a character in itself. He also encouraged improvisation, most famously in the iconic scene "You Talking to Me?" created by Robert De Niro. Editing with Selma Schoonmaker, he crafted a slow, unsettling rhythm that mirrored Travis' unraveling. His focus on emotion over strict logic made the film feel more like a hallucination rather than a conventional narrative. Set against the backdrop of 1970s New York City, a period marked by high crime, poverty, and urban decay, Taxi Driver vividly captures the city's dangerous, filthy, and morally collapsing atmosphere. The film reflects the real-life struggles of the era, including post-Vietnam disillusion, failing institutions, and rising violence. Travis Bickle embodies the experience of many returning veterans, isolated, unsupported, and psychologically damaged. Political unrest and social fragmentation heavily influence the film's themes of alienation and distress. To preserve authenticity, Scorsese shot many scenes on location in gritty areas like Times Square and Hell's Kitchen. The city itself becomes a character in the film, symbolizing the chaotic turmoil of Travis' feelings inside. Travis' PTSD and paranoia are powerfully expressed through the film's visual auditory style. The gritty Mrs. scene, featuring dirty streets and confined spaces, creating a claustrophobic atmosphere that mirrors his troubled mind. Distorted point-of-view shots and lingering close-up immerse viewers in his unstable perspective, while harsh lighting, urban noise, and fragmented editing further reflects his fractured reality. As noted in Quieting the Madness, Scorsese externalizes inner trauma through urban chaos, blending Travis' mental state with the dysfunction of the city itself in Chapter 13. Rather than portraying mental illness as spectacle, the film frames it within a broader breakdown of trust in institutions, order, and human connection. Travis' narration serves as an unreliable lens of psychological suffering, Peyton Chapter 13, inviting viewers to experience his distorted reality firsthand. These cinematic elements align with contemporary portrayals of neurodiversity, subjective, fragmented, yet deeply emotional and authentic. Here are some examples. The first photo is one of the few scenes where Bickle is watching adult movies alone. The second photo of him walking the streets shows he's always alone, to himself and his own thoughts. The photo where he's on the couch shows his violent outburst that resulted from his isolation and descent into mental distress. Bernard Herrmann's final score of Taxi Driver is jazzy, haunted, and distant, perfectly capturing the instability simmering beneath Travis' calm exterior. The film uses striking contrast between the harsh, diegetic sound of the city, sirens, traffic, shouting, and Travis' quiet, detached voiceovers to highlight his emotional disconnection. At key moments, Scorsese employs silence to heighten the viewer's sense of discomfort and reinforce Travis' isolation. As Travis descends into his violence intensifies, the music shifts with him, becoming more chaotic, pulsing, and erratic. According to Annie Payton in Quieting the Madness, sound is used to mirror the psychological tension within Travis, often blurring the lines between inner and outer chaos. This deliberate use of sound doesn't just accompany the story, it draws us inside Travis' deteriorating mind, letting us hear the city as he experiences it. The screenplay for Taxi Driver, written by Paul Schrader, was heavily influenced by his own experiences of emotional crisis, insomnia, and isolation, including a period where he lived out of his car. These personal struggles directly parallel Travis Bickle's psychological condition, grounding the film in authentic emotional distress. Much of the film's narration comes from Travis' journal entries, giving the viewers access to his obsessive thoughts, judgmental observations, and increasing detachment from reality. For instance, his line, "Thank God for the rain to wash the trash off the sidewalk," reveals both his disgust with society and desire for violent purification. Travis' dialogue throughout the film is often stiff and unnatural, highlighting how he mimics normal interactions without truly connecting, especially evident during his awkward date with Betsy. He frequently speaks in cliches or rehearsed lines, channeling media-fed fantasies of masculinity, control, and heroism. The famous "You Talking to Me" scene, improvised by Robert De Niro, underscores Travis' descent into delusions as he practices violent confrontations in front of a mirror. That mirror becomes a powerful symbol of his fractured self-image and blurred boundary between fantasy and reality. According to Normalize Mental Illness and Diversity of Entertainment Media, Travis' narration is deliberately reliable. His words expose more about his psychological unraveling the longer he speaks. Importantly, the screenplay never explicitly defines his mental condition, instead allowing the audiences to interpret his instability through tone, behavior, and subtext. This ambiguity made the film's psychological portrait more haunting and resonant. Taxi Driver is widely regarded as a landmark in American cinema, celebrated for its intense character study, raw psychological depth, and striking visual style. It redefined an anti-hero's archetype, with Travis Bickle becoming a prototype for morally ambiguous protagonists in both film and television. His character paved the way for later figures like Arthur Fleck in The Joker and Joe in You Were Never Really There, influencing directors such as Todd Phillips and Leanne Ramsey. The film's lasting legacy stems not from its craftsmanship, but from Candid Yates describes as its role as an effective text, a film that doesn't merely present a story, but provokes a physical, often unsettling emotional response. Viewers are left disturbed, caught between empathy for Travis and discomfort with his actions. The ambiguous ending in particular continues to invite re-reviewings and debates. Is it real or imagined, redemptive or ironic? Yates argues that true power of Taxi Driver lies in its ability to mirror viewers' unconscious fantasies and fears surrounding masculinity, violence, and isolation. Its refusal to provide clear moral answers is exactly what keeps it relevant and controversial decades after its release. The film continues to challenge audiences, invites praise, discomfort, and reflection in equal measure. To wrap up, Taxi Driver is a film that doesn't offer easy answers. Though it sounds, visual, dialogue, and editing, it pulls us deep into the mind of a character who is both disturbed and disturbingly familiar. Travis Bickle isn't just a character, he's a reflection of loneliness, emotional isolation, and a world that fails to heal people like him. Personally, I did not like the film, even when I first watched it, but I think that's okay. Watching it was uncomfortable when I first watched it, slow at times and emotionally heavy, but doing this analysis changed how I see it. I came to appreciate how the film uses every cinematic element, from the gritty misocynic to Bernard Herrmann's score, to make us feel what Travis feels. I also realized how much Taxi Driver still speaks to issues we deal with today: mental health, violence, alienation, and what it means to be seen in a society that often looks away. It's not a film I would watch for fun, but it's definitely one I'll remember. And that, I think, is the power of good filmmaking. It lingers with you even if you didn't enjoy it. And these are my sources I used in my presentation.